Yo, what's going on, boys? It is 5 o'clock on Saturday. We're chilling right now. Hold up. Oh, there he is. The man, Teen. So this video is going to be pretty short, to be honest. This one's going to be just something that I just found out about. But it's still pretty cool. So for those out there who have never actually, did anything about or, with these guys, let me tell you all something. The old channel DaddyoFive, bro. A lot of people probably remember that name now that I said that, or still watch them or know of them or whatever, or even hate them for that matter. Let me tell you all something, boys. One of the biggest moments in possible YouTube history just happened. No lie. Is that the family has come back together. They finally came back together. Cody, Emma, and DaddyoFive's ex-wife, Rose. She is also in the picture now. They actually just uploaded a video on TikTok on Jake's page. Shout out Jake and all of them boys out there. Yeah, dude, to me, I think it's pretty big. Honest to God, this was a super huge moment for really YouTube and creator history. I know it may sound insanely over exaggerative for me to say this, but I'm really not being over exaggerating when I say this, and I'm not being silly. I'm being honest. This was a very, very huge moment. For anybody that remembers this, these guys had this huge case going on about child endangerment and child abuse and all this stuff, trying to manipulate the kids to do all this stuff for online use and get money. And they're fuck, I wouldn't say extorting maybe, but they were just using him, Cody and all of them, to him being bad and whatever for more views and whatever. But the kids all said that it was all just a joke. They all knew it was good. Obviously, it wasn't a good look outside of that, but a lot of people did know that these guys were kind of just joking around for a lot of their things. A lot of the things seemed, just very playful, and also they just seemed kind of sketched out beforehand, a little bit planned before. And that's the way I always seen it. I knew it was always a joke, but they were always really entertaining with it, in my opinion, because I was still a little bit younger guy. I was in my teen years. And, the whole thing happened where they moved from the OG house to the really big, nice house, and then they did all the content there. They were hanging around kid behind a camera and stuff for a while with Michael and stuff. And then, the whole thing happened where the mom was like, I want my kids back. And then the whole thing happened, and, the kids got split up, and then they all went into a trailer park area, I think it was, but it had a decent, nice house. So I think it was a small house area of a thing. And then they ended up getting a new house, I think within the last year or so, I think. I'm not too sure. Don't, correct me on that if I'm wrong. I don't really keep up with them that much, but I was just on the shitter, and I just thought to myself, I was like, bro, that's huge for that to happen, because all of these years, people who kept up with them and kept watching them, whatever, always kept asking. They were like, what happened to these guys? What happened to Emma and Cody? What's going on with them? We always see Jake, Ryan, everybody else, Alex and everything, but we see nobody else. So, we've lost these two kids. We have no real idea what's going on, except for maybe people that are close to them from school or whatever, what have you. But I think at this point in time now, they're probably roughly 18, if not close to that. I imagine they're 18. I think Emma's 18. Cody, I imagine, probably would be as well. I'm not too sure. But they all came together in a video today. It was the mom and dad, then all the other kids came in, then Emma and Cody came in, then Rose came in. And that was just really huge to see, dude, because their growth over time has been very apparent, very, very apparent since everything went down. And they're a great family. They have great kids. They raised all their kids very well. And I think now that they're all back together, it's going to bring in a lot more stuff. I think even content can come back a little bit more. Not obviously, obviously not the same as what it was previous, but it's going to be a lot more just family outings, talking about everything that happened, maybe giving some more details and stuff, how it came together and whatever, because I think this was kind of in the dark And overall, dude, this is, in my opinion, pretty huge. Again, shout out to all of them for making that happen, dude. This is, it's pretty cool to see, you know. A lot of people don't really give a fuck because, you know, they kind of moved on years and years ago, but I think it's amazing. Like, I truly do, to see them come back. And I thought about it a minute ago while I was on the shitter. I was like, how crazy would it have been if nobody was like, oh my God, they're abusing their kids and whatever, and they ended up keeping, you know, everything they had. Like, imagine how fucking massive they would have been. This is retarded. They either would have been or they would, you know, be right now. I think they would have been huge. Like, if no one did the whole, like, if that whole entire thing never happened, then I think they would have been one of the biggest YouTubers, like YouTube families in the world. I really do mean that, because no one understands their trajectory was insane. I watched them from 30,000 subscribers all the way until the fucking very day that, you know, we found out that Emma and Cody were taken. And I think they were at like either at 1 million or over 1 million at this point. Or they were like getting right there. And I watched them the whole way. You know, like I watched them the whole time, dude. And they were skyrocketing very, very far. And I think they honestly would have been, again, one of the biggest YouTubers out there. They would have been a big YouTube family. They probably would have had, you know, over millions of subscribers by now. And they were around at the same time Angry Grandpa was as well. Like that whole collab, if more of it would have came, it'd have been insane. And it's crazy. I actually just looked up some of the old like Reddit posts and like IMB things of like the story behind it all, and all of them are failing to mention that these were pranks. They're all failing to mention that. Like, I looked, and a lot of them, if not most of them, are not saying, like, they're all saying, like, oh, they abused their children and whatever else, and like, they did it for their enjoyment and for money, and it's like, bro, none of you are mentioning that they were pranks, and the kids also did not give a fuck about it. And that's what it was all for. And so, like, I get the way it looks, you know what I mean? From the outside, you look at it and you're like, holy fuck, dude, like, this is bad. But everyone knew that these were pranks. Like, if you had any sort of a brain back then, and I did, I was a fucking teenager, I knew these were all fake, but I thought they were still enjoying, you know, entertaining at least. But people were just failing to mention that's what it really was. I remember when H3 was talking about it, and like how awful it was, and he was, you know, trying to get them. First of all, let's not even get started on H3, right? Like, if we want to talk about H3 right now, oh my god, dude, talk about a fucking soy ass loser. But we're not here to talk negatively really right now. We want to bring positivity back to YouTube on this one. Fuck H3, but DaddyoFive family, they all came back together. You know, they realized their mistakes. You know what I mean? They were like, man, we probably shouldn't have done it like that. We probably should have like actually came out and said these are pranks, but these are just a way that they're, you know, that they're scripted through and stuff. But like, again, like this is what happens is like something happens and people all just come together and think these are real, and they have to come out and actually say it. They're like, guys, these are pranks, and they're like, no, fuck you, you're exploiting your kids. It wasn't extort really. I don't know why I said extort. I meant to say exploit. Sorry, I don't know why I said extort. But anyway, they, you know, and their lives were ruined, and look at them now. You know what I mean? They went from nothing to something to nothing to something. Like, that's hard to do, and I give all the respect to them, dude. All the respect. They came together. They're back as a family now. They're all in contact with each other now, and that's what matters. And you all fucking failed. You all fucking failed. And not you all as in the family. Oh shit. I mean you all as in people out there that wanted them to get taken down and lose everything forever. They are all back together. They're still doing YouTube. They're still doing just fine. You know, they still have money. They still take care of themselves. The only thing you stopped was them being one of the biggest in the world. And that's it. So you all failed, and the whole DaddyoFive family ended up doing really good, and big W's to them. And I hope to actually see some good content from them in the future, mainly on like clips and stuff. I don't know if I'll sit down and watch, because I don't really sit down and watch anybody anymore, to be honest. I'm more of like a clip guy now, because it's just like sitting down and watching people. Some of them just are fucking boring now. But anyway, besides like Jeff and shit. But yeah, I'll still end up like seeing some of their stuff. Hopefully they come out with some good things. Maybe even some, maybe like a video talking about how they all, came back together and stuff. That'd be really cool. But shout out to them, dude. They did good. That's it, bro. That's all I wanted to talk about today on that one. But I'm happy for them, and I hope they actually end up doing a little bit more with themselves, for YouTube again, if they decide to, that is. But yeah, boys, that's it. W them. I'm hopping the fuck out. I gotta get a shower. I stink. Smell like hell. And that's it, boys. Peace.